And now we have come to the end of the session, and I'm very grateful that all of you have stayed with me throughout. And before I end and move on to the Q&A, I would like to share and emphasize on some personal advice that I hope my juniors and also peers will keep in mind. First is that it will never be easy, but you will need to adapt to it. We must understand that it will never be an easy journey moving out from the comfort of our home and away from our parents. But that's the thing that we need to adapt to it, especially if you move from a culture, example in Malaysia, to a Western culture, let's say in UK or US, which is completely different. We will need to adapt to it, and it will definitely not be an easy journey. And I always keep this advice very close to my heart because that's what my mother always tell me, that for your personal success and also for a better future, you must and you will need to step out of your comfort zone and fight through your way till you achieve your dreams. Always staying besides her will not gain me any success, and there will be time where she need to let go and let me pursue my dreams. And the process of letting go and adapting to a new lifestyle will never be an easy one, but that's a reality of life where you will need to step into the adulthood in the future and you will need to adapt to it. Now, the second personal advice is that never give up on your dreams. And I totally agree that you are the one who know yourself the best than anyone else, and you certainly have the right to choose the best career and make the best decision for yourself. Therefore, do not lose track of your goals and spare no effort in chasing your dreams, because you are the one who define your own success to live the best and the most fulfilling life out of yourself. If you live a life fulfilling other wishes, such as your parents, they might say that you will need to get into a certain school or a certain career, you will not have the emotional commitment to the things you do, and your passion will die off really quickly. And that applies to me as well, because the stereotype that good students must do medicine, which I don't know why. And when I first tell my parents that I want to do nursing, they totally disagree with the idea, because there's a very strong societal stereotype that nursing is a very dirty and also underrated job. But I kept my stand and I continue to persuade them now that they are happy with where I am. And I also did not regret stepping into this career field, because through the clinical posting, I finally know what they meant by nursing will gain you a lot of mental satisfaction as you work with different populations, also different kinds of people from all walks of life. And I guess that's the power of perseverance, and also to never give up on your dreams. The last personal advice is also my life principle, which is to be brave, be kind, and be grateful. Be brave, because all you have to do is just to give your first try on new things, and you'll get the hang of it one day. And life is too short to be wasted anyway, so do not be afraid to try on new things. Be kind, so that you will still see the beautiful side of the world despite all the hidden ugly truth in the society, which you will discover when you step into adulthood, and is quite cruel and hard to accept at times. Be grateful, because all the things that you have now and all that you have to go through is the gift of your lifetime to make you into a better person and shape you into a more well-rounded individual. Be appreciative, and you will feel much more content with your life. And that's all from me. I'm now open to questions from you guys, and feel free to ask me anything.
We have a question from Google Form. There's someone who asks how to overcome imposter syndrome.
Okay, imposter syndrome, from what I understand, is that it is a kind of feeling where you doubt your abilities and you think that you are not good enough. I do think that imposter syndrome is is a real thing happening among us, because the very strong competition, and people have that idea that if you are a good student, then you should continue to do well. And if you fail one time, it just breaks you apart, and you are not the so-called good student that you are anymore. And that's a very sad thing to say, because sometimes people make mistakes as well. But the thing we can do, from my personal opinion, dealing with imposter syndrome, is that you must first acknowledge your feelings of doubting yourself. And you must know that whether you are the kind of person who needs external validation or internal validation, External validation means that you need someone to tell you that you are good enough. You need someone to tell that you are good at the things you do, you have done well. Or if you are those kind with internal validation, you are the one who define that I've done well during this task, I've done well during this project, etc. And know where your validation comes from, know which type of encouragement you need. And if you need external validation, you can always speak to someone you trust. For example, your teacher, you might ask feedback from them. For example, teacher, what do you think of my presentation? Is there anything I can improve on? If they give you good feedback, it definitely shows that you have done well. It's a proof that you have done your best. And if they tells you things to improve, it is a very good chance and also good opportunity to help you identify the things that you can improve on. And other than identifying the source of your validation, you can also appreciate that you already do well at the present moment, you already did your best, and try not to compare it with other people, and you'll be able to recognize your own abilities and also your own achievement. And I think that's the thing about imposter syndrome. The thing is not to be so tied up to other people's stereotype that the good student must always do good, that kind of thing. It sometimes might take a toll on you also, but all we can do is just give our best in everything that we do. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Choy Yee. And there's also another question. How do you deal with stress?
Well, that's a very good question. Different people have different way of dealing with stress. For me, it's definitely music and food, but I have a character of very easygoing, so I let go of stress very quickly. And if you have to identify the thing that makes you happy. For example, if I'm stressed, I think that a good meal might make me feel better. Maybe I go for my favorite food, it might make me feel better. Or simply just venting your emotions to someone you trust might help also. Is just to identify the things that make you happy or make you feel content. Then it might get the stress away from you for a while. Or if you feel stressed from procrastinating because you're not doing your work and it's going to be due in a few weeks or a few days, how to deal with the stress is to get the thing started, start to do on it, so that you will not have to do the last minute job and you will get more stress out of it. I also have a question here to my direct message saying that how do you maintain a good relationship with your roommate? If you are going to move out of your country and you are going to stay in a hostel where, especially in Singapore, where the place is so small and everything is just high building, tall building, you definitely have to share your space with someone else. It's not an easy thing for me as well, because I already so used to having my own space at my house, and I can always ask anyone to keep quiet when I want to. And it's not the same when you are staying with different people with different background. The thing you can do is to accept each other. Open communication is a very important thing. That telling people that if you are not comfortable with something, then you should just tell them. If you are not good at opening up your feelings and telling them, maybe just like hint them. Yeah. And if you notice that the person doesn't like you doing something, you can see from their emotions, right? And that's where you need to like observe their facial expression and maybe just ask them if you're not awkward. Yeah, then you will be able to like maintain quite a good relationship with the people you're staying with. And you might not know, sometimes you might meet very good friends, but sometimes not. Don't be worried. Actually, going out part of the process is to learn how to enjoy your own company and also know how to be happy staying alone and doing all the things by yourself alone. It is not the case in secondary school where we are in a gang and we have a lot of friends with us. We have a very strong support system. When you come up, you might need to deal with a lot of things by yourself. If you meet with really bad friends, then that's just a very bad thing, and you will have to learn how to be comfortable staying alone and doing all things by yourself. Yeah. Knowing how to enjoy a company, your own company, is also one of the things, and it's also a very cool reality about growing up.
Okay. Thank you, Choy Yee. And I guess that's all the question that we have. So I think that marks the end of the day. And thank you so much for being here, Choy Yee. It was a pleasure for us having you here. And we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. But last but not least, thank you everyone for joining this workshop.